We did a lot of preparation in the first part of this video series. We got the skull ready, we got the pike ready, and we got the base more or less ready. Welcome to Creative Making, my name's Pete, and in this video we're going to be continuing to get this thing ready for paint. Hello, so what's going on in this video? So we're going to start off by looking at the base. You may have noticed this is the original base. I'll talk about that in a minute. First thing I want to do is I want to give this a coating of car body filler. I'm not going to sand out all the layer lines, but what I do want to do is I want to stipple on quite a heavy texture. I'm not sure whether this base is going to be metal or stone just yet. Either way, I'm going to texture it all up with some car body filler, or Bondo if you're in the States. With the original base, I was a bit concerned that the pike wouldn't fit because of the thickness of Freeform Air that I was using. But as you can see here, I've not sculpted at the bottom of the thing, so it still fits in there. So I'll use the original base. I just need to fill in some of these gaps. Just going to use some tin foil to mask off the base. Using that Freeform Air that we've used already for sculpting the wood grain, I'm going to fill in those gaps. So just use a little bit, equal parts, give it a good old mix as per usual. We don't want to have any streaks of colour in there, and then we'll jam it in there. Just going to use a mixing stick there, split down the middle to add that wood grain. I left that overnight. Next day then, this is all set. Just need to give it a clean up. So as you can see, I just use a scalpel there and my Dremel to redefine that wood grain. Wire brush just to kind of soften everything off, really. The whole thing got wire brushed actually, and there you go, and it fits in nice and it's all nice and neat around the bottom. So happy days. So we're going to use the original base on this one. Back onto the skull then. I've already started to Dremel in some cracks and splits into the skull there. I'm just going to continue that a little bit here. As it turns out, you don't really see these anyway, but it's nice to have them in there. PLA is a nightmare to Dremel, it just melts. Okay, so I've got it on a nice sturdy base there, and a silicone pad for any droppage or spillage. And we're back onto the old Freeform Air. I'm going to start to sculpt the sort of primary meat, dried flesh. I always split a couple of sticks down there as well, they might become useful. I've probably said this way too many times, but this stuff is equal parts and you mix it until it's an even colour. So I've only mixed a small amount here. It's also mass sensitive, so if you mix a massive amount, it'll gather up a lot of heat and cure super quick, so I'm only working in small amounts. You'll see me squirting some liquid on this. I discovered that using isopropyl alcohol helps this stick to the surface, and I can use a brush, as you can see me doing there, and some alcohol to kind of smooth everything out and also to shape it and sculpt it a little bit. I'll just continue to do this for most of the skull. using a mixture of the brush, the alcohol and those mixing sticks there. Once I was happy with the forms and the shapes that I got, I left it overnight. Here it is, all nice and cured. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. We just need to do the back half. I want to put hair on this guy, so there needs to be some sort of old meat there. So going against everything I said a minute ago, this is quite a big chunk of Freeform Air. I didn't end up using it all, in fact. I do want to have some visible bone at the back. I quite like that, even though it'll be underneath. Probably won't see it. Again, I've left it overnight to cure. You can see I've also glued on those shards of bone. A little bit more Freeform Air to kind of blend those bits in. This is quite a slow project because between the Freeform Air, it needs to be left overnight to cure. And also you'll see the stages in a minute. Everything needs to be left overnight to cure. So you do a layer, leave it, do a layer, leave it. It ends up being quite a long project. Time to glue on the jaw. For this I just used super glue, and then to speed things up I used a bit of zip kicker as well. Once I got the position that I liked, and let it set, and there we go, nice and sturdy. So overnight I've put some more Freeform Air on there just to help lock that jaw in position. You can see I've put some inside the back of the throat as well. On to the next stage then. So I'm going to use PVA glue. I'm going to try this Mod Podge. I keep hearing about it, never tried it. And of course the old Mighty Strength kitchen towel there. First thing I want to do is mix up some of that PVA glue with some water. It was a little bit thick. I wanted it to be a little bit runny. And I'm just simply going to paint this PVA glue all over the thing. And then once that's gone on there, I'm going to laminate some of that kitchen towel on there. Turns out that kitchen towel was mighty. It just wasn't doing the job I wanted it to do. So I ended up pulling most of that off. And then moving on to just toilet paper. Toilet paper was a bit thin, although it did give some nice fine texture. So the final thing I tried was these. These are just water wipes that I've dried out. Turns out these were the best option, really. Also gave this whole Mod Podge a go, and I was pleasantly surprised actually. The Mod Podge, even though it was quite thick, it was very good. I will use that again. For the next few days, I just went on with layer upon layer of tissue and water wipes, and you can see it's all built up, so there's a real gnarly sort of texture all over the thing. Some visible bone there as well. I wanted to work on the neck part. I wanted it to have kind of dried up hanging flesh. I've put this on already just to give me an idea of what the neck might look like and where it might be positioned. I've also put some more Freeform Air in there. So again, I'm going to use this stuff. This is really great stuff actually, quite strong. I've made these things look a little bit like white jerky. Using the water wipes and Mod Podge, I've just painted it onto some silicone matte just to make all these little pieces. I'm going to use those to kind of represent dried up flesh, meat, I guess. So here I'm just tidying up some of the edges. I'm going to glue all those on using just a little bit of super glue just to tack them in place. And again, as I say, this is just to represent dried up skin. Came back the next day, I didn't really like it. They all looked similar length. Kind of looked a bit like a court jester's neck frill. I decided that I needed to do some drastic surgery. I ended up cutting a lot of these off, actually, because it just didn't. Trimmed them all up, and then using this stuff I kind of teased this out into just random ripped up bits of fluff, and the idea is I'm just going to kind of glue those on the outside of those hanging bits of skin. So in order to do that, it was just a simple case of using some Mod Podge, daub it all over. And then hang some of that stuff on there, or wrap it around there. Soak that in Mod Podge, and then I just used some little bits just to blend it in so there wasn't any definite lines there. And I much prefer the look of this, it's a bit more random. Once I got all that on there, I used a hairdryer on a stand, and I just pointed at it and set it off and let it go for quite a while. So back onto the base then. This is all dried. I need to kind of round and soften all this texture off, because as it stands, the texture is too sharp. I'm sort of leaning towards this being a stone base. I use these things, these are great, these are kind of Scotch pads for the old Dremel. They're not too aggressive, so rather than sanding things off, it sort of softens things and rounds things. Softens things and rounds things. You know what I'm trying to say. So yeah, you can see the texture there is super rough. I just want to soften it all down a little bit. So this could either be a badly cast iron base or a stone one. I'm not quite sure yet. Let me know in the comments below what you think it should be. So as I say, I'm not trying to sand this stuff off, I'm just trying to soften that texture a little bit. So these things are perfect for that. And then I'm using just a piece of the Scotch pad as well. So that's it pretty much done then for this episode. I was hoping it was going to be a 2-part series, but I think it's going to be 3. So let's just assemble the whole thing and have a look what it looks like now. Yeah, not looking too shabby. Cool, so the next episode then, I'm going to be doing the final artwork in. I'm going to paint the whole thing, I'm going to apply hair, hopefully get it done in the next episode. Just out of interest, how do you feel about these multi-episode videos? Would you prefer longer videos, or are you happy with the shorter episodes? Let me know down below. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please consider subscribing, liking and sharing, and I shall see you shortly with episode 3.